hanging out at Helios with Miss Emily Leon.
Hello.
So, handful of quick questions for you. I think it'll be pretty easy. So, tell me about you. Like I told you a second ago, I know that you're very chic and stylish and all artsy, but like I said, you're a much deeper river than I ever knew artistically. So, fill us in.
I guess basically, like I was saying, like when I was around 12 years old, my brother was in like a punk rock band, and I started getting interested in playing music as well. So my parents bought me this beat up drum kit, and I started playing drums in a band, in a riot girl band, when I was like 12, 13 years old. And
Here.
I get like, at that point, I was really interested in music, and when I was younger, I wrote a lot of short stories, and like my grandfather was a painter, and he wrote books, and he played music, and most people on my mom's side of the family are musically inclined, and so music was really like my first love. Like, I'm a classically trained pianist, and then I started playing drums. I taught myself how to play the drums, and basically, really, as far as any sort of art is concerned, I was interested in photography, and I sort of took a lot of pictures of my brother's band, and that kept going on until probably like my sophomore year in high school. I guess when I was in like 11th or 12th grade, I did this painting called Freedom of Choice, and there's a lot going on. Basically, the premise behind my piece was you're supposed to go to like the North Carolina Museum of Art and pick a painting that inspired you, and then create something based on the image that you chose at the museum. And I picked a painting, and I started working on my own project, and then I ended up winning like 3rd place in North Carolina for this project, and I had my painting displayed at the education wing at the North Carolina Museum of Art. So that was really cool, and it traveled around North Carolina for a year, and then after that, like, I didn't really try too hard to like have any shows, and then I just started doing like random things. Like, I was in a group show in Richmond, Virginia at this high-end fish restaurant, a seafood restaurant
Be
called
competitive, quote unquote.
Pretty much. I mean, it's always flattering if you do sell work. Like, for example, I think it was maybe 2.5 years ago, on a whim, I saw on like Facebook, I think that Slim's needed someone to show their work. But anyways, so I basically, like, I hung maybe like 5 pieces at Slim's like 2.5 years ago, and towards the end of the month, like when I was supposed to go take things down, I got this random email from somebody in Arizona. It's like a cardiovascular sonographer in Arizona, and he was like, hey, I was in North Carolina visiting some friends, and we went to this bar, and I saw one of your paintings, and I bought it, and he had it shipped back to Arizona. And I was like, I called bullshit, you know. I was like, some drunk asshole saw my phone number and my email address, and they're messing with me. So I drove downtown, and I looked in the window of Slim's, and sure enough, my painting was off the wall, and there was an envelope with like $100 in it behind the bar, and I was like, that's amazing. And I communicated with a guy just briefly, maybe like 2 or 3 times, and it was pretty interesting to me because he asked me what it meant to me, and I just gave him sort of a vague idea.
Isn't that the hardest question?
Basically, what got me was that he said, I'm sitting here listening to Bauhaus, looking at your painting, and I was like, I love this guy. And just the fact that he appreciated it so much was pretty much priceless. Like, that's worth more than any currency.
Yeah.
You know, and that's sort of like my goal as far as artistic endeavors are concerned. It's not really even about other people at all. It's just about me personally, like, getting something off my chest. And if I can move somebody in some way, whether I piss you off or make you excited or even make you confused, then I'm doing something right. If you get nothing from it, then I'm doing something wrong. As far as my old paintings are concerned, like, people, I think, get a little confused thinking that my paintings are like really dark, and maybe they are to a degree, but they're actually very romantic from my own mind. And I think, like, one of the newer things that I'm working on is I'm trying to submit some work to a show called Monochromatic at the VAE. It's just in basically like black, white, and grayscale, and it's sort of like a new beginning for me. And I want to burn all my other paintings. Just sometimes you have to. You know, as far as my old paintings are concerned, it's one of those things that I've grown to accept, and I appreciate it, and I know why I did it, and I'm done with it, and I don't really think that it needs to be physically around anymore. If you want to photograph it and, you know, put it away in a box on a disc somewhere or whatever, that's fine, but physically I don't need it in my space anymore because it's mentally tormenting me.